And gentlemen, welcome to my market wrap for Thursday, December 8th, 2016. Records all abound. All the major indices hit new all-time highs today, although it is now seen as earlier in the day we were up 103 points on the Dow Jones Industrials and we closed up only 65 points. So let's get into it. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed up 65.06 points to 19,614.68 or 0.33%. The Nasdaq Composite closed up 23.59 points to 5417.36 or 0.44%. The S&P 500 closed up 4.83 points to 2246.18 and the small cap Russell 2000 closed up 19.35 points to 1383.85 or 1.42% on the upside. Looking at other indices today, the Nasdaq 100 triple Qs closed up 7.25 points to 4859.19 or 0.15%. The S&P Mid Cap 400 Index closed up 15.99 points to 1693.78 or 0.95%, just under a percent. The S&P Small Cap 600 Index closed up 13.36 points to 854.87 or up 1.59%. The NYSE Composite Index closed up 34.37 points to 11,148.99 or up 0.31%. The Gold and Silver Index, the XAU, closed unchanged at 82.57. The Semiconductor Index, the SOX Index, closed up 7.29 points to 895.73. And here we have a little disconcerting movement. The CBOE Volatility Index, or the VIX, closed up 0.14 to 12.36, or 0.98%. Looking at market internals today, total share volume traded on the New York Stock Exchange, 4.161 billion shares traded, of which 2.65 billion was advancing, 1.46 billion was declining, and 45 million shares were unchanged. Looking at the Nasdaq stock market, 2.21 billion shares traded, of which 1.47 billion was advancing, 696 million was declining, and 41 million was unchanged. Looking at the NYSE market, or the AMEX, 152 million shares traded in total, of which 102 million was advancing, 47 million was declining, and 2.6 million was unchanged. Looking at the advance decline line, or the market breadth, on the New York Stock Exchange, 1,863 issues were advancing, 1,157 issues were declining, and 78 issues were unchanged. Looking at the Nasdaq stock market, 1,936 issues were advancing, 943 were declining, and 146 issues were unchanged. Looking at the NYSE market, or the AMEX, 164 were advancing, 164 were declining, and 17 were unchanged. Looking at the currency markets versus the US dollar, last trade on the euro, 1.0615, down 0.0140. The yen, 114 even, down 25. And my favorite currency, the English pound, 1.2584, down 0.0043. Looking at the Australian dollar, 0.7461, down 0.0021. And finally, the Swiss franc, 1.0166, up 0.0094. Looking at the commodities complex, the price of West Texas Intermediate crude up 1.07 to 50.85, or up 2.15%. Looking at Brent crude, 53.89, up 0.89 or 1.68%. Looking at gold, 1172.70, down 4.8 or 0.41%. Looking at silver, 17.070, down 0.0205 or 1.19%. Looking at the equity index futures, Dow Jones Industrial Future contract in the Globex session, 19,599, up 86 points. It just ticked to 19,903, or I'm sorry, 603, up 0.44%. Looking at the S&P 500 future contract on Globex as well, 2244.50, up 7.75, or 0.35%. And finally, looking at the 10-year bond, down 14/32 of a point, yield to maturity is now up to 2.392%. Ladies and gentlemen, there is some confusion in the market as I'm seeing it. Looking at the VIX climbing is forecasting some volatility to come. However, let's ride these rallies while we have them, because I think it's running out of steam and it's going to start pulling back. Looking at the underlying indicators is starting to get very weak, and let's see what happens. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And if you found this video useful, please like, share, and subscribe. And also, please support me on Patreon. And I just want to close and say, never give up on your dreams. You may have to overcome certain obstacles to get there, but we can all get there. Thank you very much.